Hey, what's up everybody? It's the Crypto Ginger here. Guys, I'm going to go over something really quickly here I think is very interesting. Two different articles. The first one I want to give shout out to XRP Crypto Wolf for this information. This is something that I think is very important when it comes to regulations on cryptocurrencies and digital assets. And I think that when we're getting something expressed from Brad Garlinghouse, who is the CEO of Ripple, and when it comes to the talking points of regulations, we should probably be listening in on what he's having to say there, because if you have not been living under a rock for the last couple of weeks, then you were definitely aware that recently Donald Trump himself came out to Twitter speaking on behalf of him not being a fan of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, and I do believe even the Facebook Libra coin. We also heard from the U.S. Senate, the U.S. government, the U.S. Congress. They all spoke their mind regarding what Facebook is trying to do with the Libra coin, and not a lot of them are fans of that. We even have people like Maxine Waters, who doesn't even know what Bitcoin is, by calling it Bitcom. So you can see, guys, that there's a lot of questions being asked, obviously, in the political stance side of things. There are definitely those members of politics who are completely aware of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies and are even a fan of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. But what we're dealing with now is the talking point of regulations, which makes me wonder, is Q4 of 2019 going to spark regulations for cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin and other digital assets? But let's not wait any further here. I want to go into this article really quickly, and I would highly suggest just you guys taking a quick look at this here. But we can see this is an article coming from Fortune talking about how Ripple's CEO worried about regulatory backlash over Facebook's Libra plan. So a couple of highlighted key points here are really just some of the talking points made by Brad Garlinghouse himself. We can see here that Brad Garlinghouse, chief executive of the company Ripple, says he's worried Facebook's plan to enter the arena is actually basically something that will provoke harsher regulations for the entire sector. He even goes as far as to say that, quote, "You just want to make sure that you don't get caught in the crossfire." He also states that it is important to me that when regulators start asking questions, they don't lump us all into one big bucket. Absolutely. And I think that that's exactly what we saw when it comes to the tweet from President Donald Trump, with him specifying that I'm not a fan of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. But we also know as well that there's different terminologies as well for other coins, such as XRP, which is being considered a digital asset and also a bridge asset for other cryptocurrencies. So it's just interesting, again, the way that things are being talked about here from politicians and, of course, those who are there to make different types of regulatory clarity and, of course, regulations and decisions on what will happen with this ecosystem here. Brad Garlinghouse also kind of follows with another quote here when it comes to, again, his response to Trump's tweet. He says that it's like saying I'm not a fan of the internet companies. Well, there are a lot of different types of internet companies out there, and that's absolutely true. There are a lot of different types of cryptocurrencies and even digital assets. So again, taking consideration that Ripple has absolutely been working hand in hand with members of SEC, again, members of the Trump administration, members of the White House, the Congress, IMF Bank, the World Bank. I mean, guys, you understand that this is a huge organization when it comes to money and moving money around, and Ripple has all been at the helm of this when it comes to trying to make sure they're doing things the right way and merging these two worlds together. So I can definitely understand Brad Garlinghouse's concerns here. Whether or not there's going to be some specification between cryptocurrencies versus that of digital assets, or whether we see some regulatory clarity on what is going to be considered a security or a cryptocurrency or not, I think that obviously that still remains to be seen, and could be what we are going to expect to see from Q4, quarter four of 2019. That'll be a very hopeful situation there. And again, I'm hopeful as well that we'll see something positive for this ecosystem, and more importantly, something very positive for XRP. But I think that there are definitely some concerns here, especially coming from Brad Garlinghouse himself. And I think also as well, when it comes to dealing with major banks and financial institutions, this is just something that doesn't need to be a hindrance and get in the way of what their plan is for getting all of these banks and financial institutions on board together, so that we can have the internet of value and transferring money back and forth, via different types of cross-border payments in a real-time fashion. And speaking of real-time fashion, I have another article that I wanted to kind of emphasize on just as well. Now, this last bit of information, I have to give at least some credit to Investment Perspective for posting this out to the XRP community. This is an article from Bloomberg talking about how Elizabeth Warren wants to stop banks from dominating trillions in payment. Of course, you do a quick look at this article here, again, coming from Bloomberg, and you can see that they already highlight 2 key points from this article that actually I think are a main emphasis here. It's definitely a good read. I would highly suggest it, but just to kind of give you the quick and skinny, guys, we see that Democrats' bill, which they are actually working on, and I will show you this bill. It would require the Fed to build a payment system. And then the next part of this particular talking point in this Bloomberg article says that Wall Street banks have already launched a real-time network. Elizabeth Warren really has a good focus when it comes to this article here. What she's trying to do and being outspoken about real-time payments is because there are a lot of people who don't get their money in real time. There's a lot of people who actually need to have their money when it comes to having it in real time. And a lot of people that have to wait, they usually can suffer from that situation. Think about direct deposit. When you get paid, it's not from the time frame that you should be getting paid. You have to wait an extended amount of time. Yes, it goes directly into your banking account, but imagine if it was all done in real time from the execution of one company, sending it to your banking system in that same time frame and having it accessible when it should be in real time. Guys, that is the purpose. That is the whole principle behind this. And to see that Elizabeth Warren and other Democrats are at least taking a stance now against banks so that we can find a way for real-time payments to be executed is absolutely huge when it comes to this movement of seeing the expansion of banks and financial institutions getting into the cryptocurrency space. So now to the bill. Well, this right here is actually something posted as part of the thread of comments here by someone by the name of Tom T_XRP, and of course it looks as though they use this right here as far as a deep dive that they might have had in another group. But here is a link to the bill. And I just think this is a very interesting bill because what we can see here is that this bill is to amend the Expedited Funds Availability Act to require that funds deposited be available for withdrawal in real time and to require the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System to create a real-time payment system for other purposes. Well, it is only about 7 pages, guys. I would definitely suggest doing a quick read through this, but I'm going to skim to the very bottom here because this is where it talks about real-time payment system defined. In this section, the term real-time payment system means that a payment-by-payment interbank settlement system that facilitates settlements in real time and at any time, any day, including weekends and holidays. I absolutely agree with that, guys. It is your money. When it is your money, you should have it accessible to you at any time, any part of the day, any time, guys, at real-time methods just as well. So I am definitely for a bill that's actually going to help at least incorporate this on a federal level and from a banking level as well. I just want to see some positivity come from this. And so you start mixing this information up together with what we just got when it comes to, you know, at least Brad Garlinghouse's concerns about how politicians and of course the US government might be lumping all cryptocurrencies into one big basket there. I don't think that that's going to be the case, but also as well, we don't know exactly what's going to happen. My guess at this point in time might be shared as far as the same sentiment with others people in the XRP community that Q4 of this year might be when we start seeing regulations happening for cryptocurrencies. Let me know what you guys think about all this information here, guys. It's definitely a lot to put together here, but I think we are on course to start seeing something happen, at least from a regulation standpoint. We definitely heard quite a bit when it comes to the U.S. Congress, U.S. Senate, the president himself of the United States speaking about cryptocurrencies. And I think Facebook might have lit a fire under a lot of people, and that's why we're seeing a lot more of these talking points here. But again, let me know what you guys think about all this information. And are you hopeful that we're going to start seeing some regulations that are in a positive direction for cryptocurrencies, digital assets, and real-time payments? Outside of that, guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for taking the time to view this information. And of course, if you want to find me on Twitter, I am at @crypto_ginger. If you're new to this channel, please hit the like and subscribe button if you like this content and share it with anybody and everybody. Outside of that, guys, thank you for watching. I definitely hope you have a wonderful day.